For the first time since Iran launched its war directly against Israel, Israelis had a full night's sleep. No rocket sirens, no 3 a.m. sprints to the safe room, no kids crying out of fear, just silence, peaceful silence, and a good night's sleep. And for that we are deeply grateful. But I would be lying if I said that this morning or today felt normal. Because there is a strange, surreal fog over the Jewish state of Israel right now. The kind of fog that comes after a storm. But while the clouds are still gathering on the horizon, especially as I expressed yesterday all the doubts about this so-called ceasefire. Today, Israelis are sending their kids back to school, going back to work, roads are buzzing again. But underneath the surface, everyone knows this isn't really over. Because it's not. The ceasefire with Iran may have momentarily halted the Islamic regime's ballistic rocket attacks at us, but the war hasn't ended. Definitely not in Gaza. And not with our hostages still rotting in Hamas's tunnels. And not with the genocidal Islamic regime in Tehran still standing, just waiting to rebuild. This morning, as if to jolt us back to reality, we woke up to the devastating news. 7 more holy IDF soldiers killed in Gaza. 7 more of our sons, our brothers, our heroes taken from us. While headlines celebrate a ceasefire, our holy IDF soldiers are still in Gaza, and yes, some dying in combat in a war we must win on all fronts. This is not normal. And we shouldn't pretend that this reality is. We still have so much work to do. We must finish the job in Gaza. We must free all our remaining hostages held by our Islamo-Nazi enemies in Gaza and bring them home. We must implement President Trump's Gaza immigration plan, and we must ensure that Gaza never again becomes a launch pad for terror, but instead a peaceful part of our Jewish homeland by making Gaza Jewish again. There is no other solution. And yet, while we try to breathe for a moment here in Israel, right, after this ceasefire with the war in Iran, across the ocean, in the heart of the Jewish diaspora, New York City, a dark storm is brewing. In the Democratic Party primary, voters just handed a victory to Zohran Mamdani, a radical Jew-hating, Israel-hating anti-Semite, who supports the globalization of the intifada.
Free, free, free Palestine! Free, free Palestine! Free, free, free Palestine!
Free, free, free Palestine!
Thank you so much, brothers and sisters. Eid Mubarak. Thank you.
In one video comparing the intifada to the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, an indirect endorsement of the October 7th massacre and violence against Jews everywhere.
Hello, everyone! Who is ready to end U.S. military aid to Israel? I began my journey into organizing by co-founding my college's first Students for Justice in Palestine. I will fight, and we will fight, until our final breaths to ensure that Zionism is not an entity that has the power any longer to subject anyone to an apartheid system of government. Who is ready to say that anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitism?
He promised to arrest Prime Minister Netanyahu if Netanyahu would set foot in New York City.
And Mayor Mamdani, would he welcome Prime Minister Netanyahu to New York City for whatever he comes for, given the US is not a signatory to the ICC, so he can travel to the US, unlike a lot of other countries. Would a Mayor Mamdani welcome Benjamin Netanyahu to the city?
No. As mayor, New York City would arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. This is a city that our values are in line with international law. It's time that our actions are also.
Even though the US is not a signatory to the ICC?
No, it's time that we actually step up and make clear what we are willing to do to showcase the leadership that is sorely missing in the federal administration.
He preaches Marxist anti-capitalist ideology.
What can you do in New York City to make sure that our brothers, our sisters, our family beyond the binary in Palestine are safe and free and receive justice? Who can put pressure pressure on every single one of your elected officials. At the city council, at the state assembly, at the state senate, we have elected officials who are taking paid-for trips to Israel. They are going there paid for by your tax dollars. They show up to Israel Day parades and they say we stand in solidarity. We want to let them know that there are 3 letters that we have as an answer to what is happening in Palestine, and it's BDS.
He wants to defund the New York Police Department, and he ignores the persecution and brutality of Muslim countries while obsessively vilifying the Jewish state of Israel as not protecting equal rights for all.
Do you support Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state?
I support Israel's right to exist as a state with equal rights. I believe that every state...
Why not as a Jewish state?
Because I'm not comfortable supporting any state that has a hierarchy of citizenship on the basis of religion or anything else. I think that in the way that we have in this country, equality should be enshrined in every country in the world. That's my belief.
So let's be clear. This man hates Israel, hates Jews, except for the progressive Jews who are also anti-Israel and support him. And he just won a Democratic primary in a city with the largest Jewish population in the world outside of Israel. So I say to my fellow American Jews not home yet in Israel, please wake up. France ignored the signs. So did Britain. And today, Jewish life in both of those countries is no longer safe. But it's not just the Jews. Entire neighborhoods in France and Britain, once vibrant, safe, and very much Western, have been transformed by a demographic and ideological shift that political correctness in those countries refuse to name. In France, areas like the Saint-Denis have become effectively no-go zones, where French police don't even go, or hardly at all. Non-Muslim women are frequently harassed in the streets by Muslim men. Jewish synagogues and schools are guarded by police, soldiers. Jews are physically attacked in the streets, and many have fled to Israel or safer cities abroad. Anti-Semitic violence has become so routine it rarely even makes the headlines. And in Britain, entire cities, communities have been reshaped by mass Muslim migration from regions where Jew hatred is culturally ingrained. Hate preachers and their mosques operate under the banner of diversity. Muslim rape gangs have raped thousands and thousands of British girls that the British authorities ignored for years, decades even. Jews in cities like London and Manchester are now facing harassment, assault, and openly Jew-hating anti-Semitic protests, thinly disguised as pro-Palestinian activism. Young Jews are sometimes told to hide their identity on university campuses. And even British police now seem more concerned with avoiding accusations of Islamophobia than in protecting actual victims. And those were British citizens, not even Jews. And this deterioration is not just a Jewish problem, it is a civilizational problem. Crime rates have surged in many of those areas. Free speech and freedom of religion are eroding, not due to governmental overreach, but from the growing influence of Islamist ideology fused with radical leftist activism seeping into law enforcement. This is the Red-Green Alliance at work, the neo-Marxist Islamist pact that undermines the very foundation of Western democracies. And it's coming to America faster than anyone imagined. So do not be lulled into complacency. Jew hatred is no longer hiding. It is brazen, it is empowered, it is being elected in democratic elections in the United States, cities and states, and now coming to New York City. It is shaping law, media, and education. And as I've always said, I want Jews to come home to Israel, not out of fear, but out of faith, because Israel is our ancestral homeland where we are meant to be, because our future, our identity, and our destiny are here. Yes, people in the West, may they fight for their countries. Jews have a country to come back to. But please, do not ignore the warning signs. The world is changing, and we must change with it, not by conforming, or by hiding, or ignoring, but by returning to our roots, to truth, to strength, to clarity, to our home. This isn't about politics. This is about our survival. Here in Israel, we just fought a direct war with Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, for 12 days, and we have lived to tell the tale. That's a miracle, thanks to our soldiers, our leadership, and most of all, thanks to Hashem, to God. Miracles surrounded us all 12 of these days. But the battle is not over. Not for Israel, and not for Jews anywhere, or for the freedom-loving world. So yes, we pause. We breathe in this ceasefire, how long it's going to be. We thank God for the quiet, but we stay awake, always awake. Jew hatred is back with a vengeance, but with a new face, but the same goal, our erasure. And we will not let that happen. Because the future is not written by those who sit back and wait. The future is written by those who build and move forward with courage, with clarity, and with unshakable faith. And that is the lion of the Jewish people in the Jewish state of Israel today. Am Yisrael Chai. If you are not yet a subscriber to our daily, belief-based, inspiring, politically incorrect, truthful videos about Israel, the Jewish people, and the freedom-loving world, what are you waiting for? Go to pulseofisrael.com and click to subscribe today. And yes, we are a donor-based operation. We need your donations for support in order to make these videos and get our videos seen and do all the work we do. So every once in a while, whether a large donation or a small donation, just go to pulseofisrael.com and click on the donate button. Shalom, everyone, and thanks for watching.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.